Alright, it's Shabbat Shalom, Miss Bakadas, Moreh Medad, Yahu Ben Yashrael, and you have just tuned in to Living Branch Hebrew Assembly. I want to welcome you to another one of our broadcasts, and we just want to say Shabbat Shalom to all of our Miss Bakah all across the world. It is a nice sunny Shabbat, nice and warm outside. Hallelujah. So we should definitely be able to make this a day of delight for the Father and dedicate it to Him. Tell you, it's definitely good when you can make it focus on the Father. That's what you want, because there's so many things that can distract us, and distractions are something else. And all across, and we have our Miss Bakah logging on as we speak. And so we definitely, we just say Shabbat Shalom to every last one of you all. So, today we're gonna start with our fifth part, navigating through this life. Now, for this particular portion of navigating through this life, you're going to have to pay particular attention to different things. And if you don't, you might just miss what's happening. Okay. So, because some things are very subtle, and these subtleties can dictate your entire life. So I want you to really pay close attention to key things, and I'm going to highlight some of those before we start reading. So we got a little bit of reading to do, so let's pray and we'll jump into the lesson. Father, in the name of Mashiach Yahushua, we thank you for today's lesson. I ask you, Father, to help our Miss Bakah, all of those that are logging in all across the world. Father, that you would bring value and understanding through this lesson today. Help us to see in this last part of Joseph's life and the life with his brothers and with Yaakov. Help us to see and understand these lessons of navigation. Father, we thank you. We thank you for charting our course. We ask you, Father, to help us to approach you with sincere heart, sincere desire. Thank you, Father, for all of our Miss Bakah, and I pray that you will continue to help them to navigate and help them to see your esteem in the name of Mashiach Yahushua. Hallel to Yahuwah. Amen. Okay, so this is about navigating through this life, part 5. If you have questions, you can email me at info@living-branch.org, or you can log on to our website, living-branch.org, and join the website, and you can ask your questions there. You can message me there also if email's not one of your favorite tickets. So let's look at a couple things we need to remember. Of course, you know our key verse for this has been Genesis chapter 50, verse 19. And Joseph said unto them, Fear not, for am I in the place of Elohim? But as for you, you thought evil against me, but Elohim meant it unto good, to bring to pass, as it is this day, to save much people alive. So we have to understand, and we've reiterated this over and over, that evil, understand that the evil that comes your way, why it comes, sometimes we wouldn't go a certain direction. Joseph wouldn't have chose for his life to be imprisoned and to be accused of uh, adultery and or rape or however you want to put it. He never would have done that. So, some of the paths that the Father has taken us on our own, we never would have chosen it. But the paths that he put us on is to help bring a certain outcome. So you've got to look at where you are, what you're going through different eyes. And you have to make a determination to grow through this process. Okay, so Elohim meant it for good. To bring to what? Past what? To save much lives. So you don't know who the Father will bring you across or why he's doing it. All you know is that he has a plan. And he unfolds his plan. Now, we can do a couple of things. We can be resistant. Or we could definitely say, okay, Father, I'm in your hands. Guide and show me. Navigate me through this. Which a lot of people don't do. Most time we're prone to murmuring and complaining. But hopefully this is going to change this in your life because you now understand that nothing happens by chance. Okay, so now these are some of the things I want you to watch for. I want you to pay attention to the blessings of Joseph's sons, Manasseh and Ephraim. I want you to pay close attention to the prophecy given to each son by Jacob. It's a lot right there. Okay. After the death of Jacob, the brothers of Joseph, the brothers of, I put that in there wrong. It should be read, after the death of Jacob, Joseph's brothers had what type of mindset? What type mindset did the brothers have? Of course, and we want to remember Bereshit chapter 50 verse 19. Also pay a close attention to the prophecy of Joseph concerning the 12 tribes of Israel. Okay, so let's read starting at chapter 47. Okay, it says, Then Joseph came and told Pharaoh, saying, My father and brethren and their flocks and their herds and all that they have are come out of the land of Canaan. And behold, they are in the land of Goshen. And he took some of his brethren, even 5, and presented them unto Pharaoh. Now, this doesn't really have to do with navigating, but I want you to get this picture here. I want you to see this. So, if you remember, Mashiach gave a parable of 5 wise and 5 foolish virgins. Okay, the 5 wise made it in and the door was shut. So the 5 wise were presented to the Father. And what I mean by that, because Mashiach married them, of course the Father's going to be at his marriage. So notice right here in this scripture text, it says, now Joseph, when you start to look at this story, Joseph is a representation of Mashiach and Pharaoh is a representation of the Father. And you'll see here, and he took some of his brethren, even 5, and presented them unto Pharaoh. So I just want you to see that correlation there. Maybe to some of us it doesn't mean anything, but to me it's a mouthful. Okay? And Pharaoh said unto his brethren, What is your occupation? And they said unto Pharaoh, Thy servants are shepherds. both we and also our father. They said moreover to Pharaoh, for to sojourn in the land are we come, for thy servants have no pasture for their flocks, for the famine is sore in the land of Canaan. Now therefore we pray thee, let thy servants dwell in the land of Goshen. Now, just as a study for you, go back and look at where Goshen is strategically placed in reference to Israel. In reference to Egypt. So when they had to, notice how the Father strategically placed them so when it was time to leave, they could just leave straight out. They didn't have to go through Egypt. But you go check that out when you get a chance. So he strategically placed them where they needed to be. And Pharaoh spake unto Joseph and said, thy father and thy brethren are come unto thee. The land of Egypt is before thee. In the best of the land make thy father and brethren to dwell. In the land of Goshen shall thou dwell. And if thou knowest any man of the activity among them, then make them rulers over my cattle. And Joseph brought in Jacob his father and set him before Pharaoh. And Jacob blessed Pharaoh. And Pharaoh said unto Jacob, how old art thou? And Jacob said unto Pharaoh, the days of the years of my pilgrimage. Now notice what he said, or sojourning, are 130 years. Few and evil have the days of the years of my life been, and have not obtained unto the days of the years of my life of my father in the days of their pilgrimage. And Jacob blessed Pharaoh and went out from before Pharaoh. And Joseph placed his father and his brethren and gave them a possession in the land of Egypt, or Mitzrayim, in the best of the land, in the land of Ramses, as Pharaoh had commanded. And Joseph nourished his father and his brethren and all his father's household with bread according to their families. And there was no bread in all the land, for the famine was very sore, so that the land of Mitzrayim, of Egypt, and all the lands of Canaan fainted by reason of the famine. And Joseph gathered up all the money that was found in the land of Egypt, in the land of Canaan, for the corn which they bought. And Joseph brought the money into Pharaoh's house. And when money failed in the land of Mitzrayim, in the land of Canaan, all the Egyptian Mitzrayites came unto Joseph, and said, give us lechem, or bread. For why should we die in thy presence, for the money faileth? And Joseph said, give your cattle, and I will give you for your cattle if money fails. And they brought their cattle unto Joseph. And Joseph gave them bread in exchange for horses and for flocks and for the cattle of the herd and for the donkeys, and he fed them with bread for all their cattle for that year. When that year was ended, they came unto him the second year and said unto him, we will not hide it from my sovereign, how that our money is spent. My sovereign also has our cattle, has our herd of cattle. There is none aught left in the sight of my sovereign, but our bodies and our lands. Wherefore shall we die before thy eyes, both we and our land? Buy us and our land for lechem, or bread, and we and our land will be the servant unto Pharaoh. Give us seed that we may live and die not, that the land be not desolated. And Joseph bought all the land of Egypt for Pharaoh. For the Egyptians sold every man his field, because the famine prevailed over them. So the land became Pharaoh. Now notice in all of this that the Egyptians sold their land to Pharaoh, but Israel didn't have to sell anything. They were given a land to stay in and were nourished and kept, while every place else there was a famine. Now I want you to notice what they did after they bought the land. And as for the people, he removed them to cities from one end of the border of Egypt even to the other end thereof. Only the land of the priests bought he not, for the priests had a portion assigned them of Pharaoh. Kind of sounds like how Israel works. And did eat their portion which Pharaoh gave them, whereof they sold not their land. Then Joseph, because remember, we're supposed to be a nation of priests. But that was Pharaoh's priest, but I'm just, making correlation there. And Joseph said unto the people, Behold, I have brought you this day in your land for Pharaoh. Lo, here is seed for you, and you shall sow the land. And it shall come to pass in the increase that you shall give a fifth part unto Pharaoh, and the fourth part shall be your own, for the seed of the field and for your food, for them of your household, and food for your little ones. And they said, Thou hast saved our lives. Let us find favor in the sight of my my sovereign, and we will be Pharaoh's servants. And Joseph made it a law over the land of Egypt unto this day, that Pharaoh shall have a fifth part, except the land of the priests, only which became not Pharaoh's. So really, if you're really looking at this, Joseph made them rich by how the father told him to run this. And Israel dwelled in the land of Mitzrayim, in the country of Goshen, and they had possession therein, and grew and multiplied exceedingly. And Yaakov lived in the land of Egypt 17 years. So the whole age of Yaakov was 147 years. And the time drew near that Yashrael must die. And he called his son Joseph unto him, If now I have found favor or grace in thy sight, put, I pray thee, thy hand under my thigh, and deal kindly and truly with me. Bury me not, I pray thee, in Egypt of Mitzrayim. But I will lie with my fathers, and there shall carry me out of Egypt, and bury me in their burying place. And he said, I will do as thou hast said. And he said, Swear unto me. And he swore unto him, and Yashrael, bowed himself upon the bed's head. Okay, 48th chapter. Now listen. And it came to pass after these that one told Joseph, Behold, thy father is sick. And he took with him his two sons, Manasseh and Ephraim. And one told Jacob and said, Behold, thy son Joseph cometh unto thee. And Yashrael strengthened himself and sat up upon the bed. And Jacob said unto Joseph, El Shaddai, or El Almighty, appeared unto me at Luz in the land of Canaan, and blessed me, and said unto me, Behold, I will make thee fruitful and multiply thee, and I will make of thee a mighty people, and will give this land to thy seed after thee for an everlasting possession. Now thy two sons, Ephraim and Manasseh, which were born unto thee in the land of Mitzrayim before I came unto thee in Mitzrayim, are mine. As Reuben and Simeon, they shall be mine. And thy issue, which thou begottest after them, shall be thine, and shall be called after the name of thy brethren in their inheritance. And as for me, when I came from Padam, Rachel died by me in the land of Canaan in the way, when yet there was but a little ways to come unto Ephrath. I buried her there in the way of Ephrath, the same is Bethlehem. And Israel beheld Joseph's sons and said, Who are these? And Joseph said unto his father, They are my sons, whom Elohim has given me in this place. And he said, Bring them, I pray thee, unto me, that I may bless them. And now the eyes of Yashrael were dim for age, so that he could not see. And he brought them near unto him, and he kissed them and embraced them. Yashrael said unto Joseph, I had not thought to see thy face. And lo, Elohim has showed me also thy seed. And Joseph brought them from between his knees, and he bowed himself with his face to the earth. And Joseph took them both, Ephraim in his right hand towards Israel's left hand, and Manasseh in his left hand towards Israel's right hand, and brought them near unto him. And Yashrael stretched out his right hand and laid it upon Ephraim's head, who was the younger, and his left hand upon Manasseh's head, guiding his hand wittingly to Manasseh his firstborn. And he blessed Joseph and said, Elohim, before whom my father Abraham and Yitzchak did walk, and the Elohim which fed me all my life unto this day, the angel which redeemed me. Now notice that the Malach, the messenger. Wonder which one was that. Which redeemed me from all evil, bless the lad, and let my name be named on them, and the name of my father Abraham and Yitzchak, and let them grow into a multitude in the midst of the earth. And when Joseph saw that his father had laid his right hand upon the head of Ephraim, it displeased him, and he held up his father's hand to remove it from Ephraim's head unto Manasseh's head. And Joseph said unto his father, Not so, my father, for this is the firstborn. But put thy right hand upon his head. And his father refused and said, I know it, my son, I know it. He also shall become a people, and he shall be great. But truly his younger brother shall be greater than he, and his seed shall become a multitude of nations. And he blessed them that day, saying, In these shall Yashrael bless, saying, Elohim make thee as Ephraim and as Manasseh. And he set Ephraim before Manasseh. And Yashrael said unto Joseph, Behold, I die, but Elohim shall be with you, and bring you again unto the land of your fathers. Moreover, I have given to thee one portion above thy brethren, which I take out of the hand of the Amorites with the sword and with the bow. Okay, now this is a good lesson for some of us. This portion right here. Now, what do I mean? We are accustomed to how things should be in a culture. Okay, it was their practice for us Hebrews that you would lay the right hand on the oldest, if there were two, and the left hand on the youngest. But the father changed that. Now, I thought this interesting that when Joseph was on his way to Mitzrayim, and remember, he met the messenger there, and he was given something. Let's just Genesis 46 and 4. Okay, so this is when he took his journey. Remember, we read this, and Yashrael took his journey with all that he had and came to Beersheba and offered sacrifices unto Elohim of his father Yitzchak. And Elohim spoke unto Israel in a vision of the night and said, Yaakov, Yaakov. And he said, Here am I. He said, I am El, the Elohim of thy father. Fear not to go down to Egypt or Mitzrayim, for I will there make of thee a great nation. I will go down with thee into Mitzrayim. I will also surely bring thee up again. And Joseph shall put his hand upon thy eyes. So I just thought it was interesting in this encounter that Joseph wanted Yaakov to switch his hands, but Yaakov had to cross his hands in order to render this blessing. So somewhere the father had talked to him, because notice he talked about Ephraim being greater than his brother. And so that goes against what's considered normal. And sometimes we have to look at what we're faced with, and sometimes he'll put choices before you, and one choice might look just perfect, might look right. But that's just because it looks right doesn't mean that that's the choice he wants you to make. So Yaakov made the choice that he was instructed to make, because he had to get that prophecy from somewhere. Because that's what it was. For all of us that don't believe in the prophetic and visions, you have it right there in Bereshit. It still happens. So for me, I'll pray on stuff. And then after I pray, I'll watch my dreams. I'll watch and listen to what people say to me, because sometimes your answer will come through your dreams. Sometimes it will come through other people. And they might not even be in the walk, but what they'll say to you will click in your ruach or spirit, and you'll be like, that's it. So you've got to be ever attentive. So let me ask you this. I don't know if this ever happened to you. Okay. You might have your navigation, whether you do it on the iPhone, iPad, you have a little navigation navigation equipment in your car, whether it was built into the car, you added it in. And the voice will tell you in so many feet or so many miles, turn right, turn left. If you get distracted, even though the voice might say in 2 miles, make a right turn. If you get distracted, you can pass right by that turn, even though the voice told you in 2 miles you're making a right turn. And you can get distracted right at the turn, and it'll say in 800 feet turn left, and a distraction happens, and you can go right on by where you were supposed to turn. So you've got to be paying attention to all the signs and the, we'll call it the oat, because that's what sign in Hebrew means. I've actually had dreams where the Father kept saying oat, 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 that he was going to show me a sign. And sure enough, he showed me some signs. I was like, okay, Father, I get it. Let me go ahead and follow what you say, what I see you saying. So we have to be paying attention, because it can very easily, something can distract us and we can miss it. Okay, let's keep going. Continue to pay attention. And some of the stuff might stick out more for others. Now, this is where Yaakov is blessing, well, not blessing, but he's telling them, his sons, what's going to happen to him in the last days. And Yaakov called all his sons and said, gather yourselves together, that I may tell you that which shall befall you in the last days. Gather together and hear, you sons of Yaakov, and hearken unto Yasriel your father. Now, first one is Reuben. Reuben, thou art my firstborn, my might, the beginning of my strength, the excellency of dignity, and the excellency of power, unstable as water. Thou shalt not excel. Now, why is he not going to excel? Because of what he did knowingly. He knowingly sinned. He willfully sinned. And what was that sin? Because thou wentest up to thy father's bed, then defilest thou it. He went up to my couch. So he basically had sex with one of Yaakov's handmaidens or wives. we call them handmaidens of, because remember he had Bilhah and Zilpah. So this is why Reuben lost his firstborn right, because of what he did here. So you got to make sure, if you know to do good, if you know to do what's right in Torah, don't go out here and willfully sin. Pray tell, because it can cause you to lose a lot of stuff, because the only thing that's going to wait for you now is judgment. Okay, let's go on to the next one. Simeon. Now notice he grouped these two together because they acted together in the past. Simeon and Levi are brethren. Instruments of cruelty are in your habitation. O my soul, come not thou into their secrets, unto their assembly. My honor be not thy unity. For in their anger they slew a man, and in their selfishness they dug down a wall. So go back and read where they acted together. You can find it back when involving the sister Tamar. But notice this when they didn't act together. You'll see this at Mount Sinai when everyone worshipped the golden calf. It was only one tribe that rose up and went to Moses' side. And that was the tribe of Levi or Levi. And what did they do? They had no problem slaying his brother according to the instructions that Moshe gave him. And notice he curses something. He doesn't curse them. He said, cursed be their anger, for it was fierce, and their wrath, for it was cruel. I will divide them in Yaakov and will scatter them in Israel. So notice, because of the acts that the Levites did, they didn't have an inheritance. They were the father's portion. So they were all throughout the tribe of Israel. So these prophecies are very, very accurate. Yehuda, thou art he whom thy brethren shall praise. Thy hand shall be on the neck of thy enemies. Thy father's children shall bow down before thee. Yehuda is a lion's whelp for the prey, my son, thou art gone up. He stooped down, he crouched as a lion, and as an old lion, who shall roost him up. The scepter shall not depart from Yehuda, nor the lawgiver from between his feet, until Shiloh come, and unto him shall the gathering of the people be. Binding his foal unto the vine, and his donkey's coat unto the choice vine. He washes garments in in wine, and his clothes in the blood of grapes. And his eyes shall be red with wine, and his teeth white with milk. So this is Yehuda. Now I want you to notice one of the things, the character change. Remember we talked about Yehuda and his character change? How that he told his father that if he didn't bring his brother Benjamin back, that let the guilt be upon him forever. Well, he did bring his brothers back. And he showed that he was willing to give himself. Isn't this characteristic of Think about the Mashiach came through this lineage. One of the last acts you see of Yehuda, he was willing to give himself in exchange for his brother to go free. Whereas before, when it came to Joseph, that wasn't the case. He wanted his brother to be free, but he didn't exchange himself for his brother. But now his character changed to the point that he's willing to exchange himself for his brother. He was willing to give his life for his brother. So for us, we got to make sure that we're changing for the good. We can't let our trials and what we go through make us hard and harden our hearts, make us bitter. You got a lot of bitter Hebrews out here, because of what they've gone through and what they've faced. It's all in perspective how you're looking at this. I'm telling you, you change your thought, you can change your situation, because he's not trying to change your situation. I've said this so many times. He's trying to change how you think. He wants you to think like him. That's what the Father wants. He wants you to think Torah. He wants you to apply the principles of Torah. That's what he's after. But most don't apply the principles. What do? They will rely on their thoughts, their feelings, and their emotions. That's your understanding. It doesn't say in Proverbs, lean not to your own understanding, but in all your ways acknowledge him, and he shall direct your path. Okay, let's keep going. Zebulun shall dwell in the haven of the sea. He shall be for a haven of ships, and his borders shall be unto Zidon. Issachar is a strong donkey crouching down between two burdens. And he saw the rest was good, and the land that it was pleasant, and bowed his shoulders to bear, and became a servant unto tribute. Dan shall judge his people as one of the tribes of Israel. Dan shall be a serpent by the wayside, an adder in the path that biteth the horse's heel, so that the rider shall fall backwards. I have waited for thy salvation, O Yahuwah. Now, if you get a chance, do some research on Dan, because you'll see in some of the genealogy, or where it lists the 12 tribes, you'll see Dan's name doesn't show up. Dan did some pretty rough stuff when it came to worshiping idols. So check it out in the Tanakh, and that'll be something good to read to show just how, because when he says he's a serpent by the wayside, Dan caused a tremendous stumbling block in Israel. But I want you to go research that, and you'll see how the tribe of Dan did some worship, pagan worship, that caused all of Israel to stumble. That's good research for you. And Gad a troop shall overcome him, but he shall overcome at last. Out of Asher his bread shall be fat. He shall yield royal dainties. Naphtali is a hind. That right there is a doe or deer. Let loose. He giveth goodly words. Joseph is a fruitful son. That's the word that's used there. Bane, Even a fruitful son by a well, whose branches run over the wall, and the archers have sorely grieved him, and shot at him and hated him, but his bow abide in strength, abode in strength. And his arms are the hands were made strong by the hands of the mighty. And this right here, might that says mighty one, which is a ring, a beam, a bear. Mighty one, this is not in the text, just so you see. It's in print. It's italicized. Of Yaakov. From hence is the shepherd and the stone of Israel, even by the El of thy father, who shall help thee, and by the Shaddai, or my Almighty, who shall bless thee with blessings of Shamaim above, blessings of the deep that lieth under, blessings of the breast and of the womb. And the blessings of the Father have prevailed above the blessings of my progenitor, unto the utmost bound of the everlasting hills. They shall be upon the head of Joseph, and on the crown of the head of him that was separated from his brethren. Benjamin shall tear or ravine as a wolf. In the morning he shall devour the prey, and at night he shall divide the spoils. And all these are the 12 tribes of Yasrael, and this is it that their father spake unto them and blessed them, and every one according to his blessing he blessed them. And he charged them and said unto them, I am to be gathered unto my people. Bury me with my fathers in the cave that is in the field of Ephron, the Hittite, in the cave that is in the field of Mishpah, which before Mamre, in the land of Canaan, which Abraham brought with the field of Ephron the Hittite for a possession of a burying place. There they buried Abraham and Sarah, his wife. There they buried Yitzchak and Rebekah, or Rivkah, his wife. And there I buried Leah, and purchased of the field and of the cave that is therein from the children of Heth. And when Yaakov had made an end of commanding his sons, he gathered up his feet into the bed and gave up the Gawa, and was given unto his people, and was gathered unto his people. Okay, now I want you to pay particular attention. There's certain things in this particular chapter I want you to see, and I'll point them out as we go. And Joseph fell upon his father's face and wept upon him and kissed him. And Joseph commanded his servants, the physicians, to embalm his father. And the physicians embalmed Yasrael. 40 days were the fulfillment for him. For so are the fulfilled the days of those which are embalmed. And the Egyptians mourned for him 70 days. And when the days of his mourning were past, Joseph spake unto the house of Pharaoh, saying, If now I have found favor in your eyes, speak, I pray you, into the ears of Pharaoh, saying, My father made me swear, saying, Lo, I die in my grave which I have dug for me in the land of Canaan. There shall you bury me. Now therefore let me go up I pray thee, and bury my father, and I will come again. And Pharaoh said, Go up, bury your father, according as he made thee swear. And Joseph went up to bury his father, and with him went up all the servants of Pharaoh, and the elders of the house, and the elders of the land of Mitzrayim, and all the house of Joseph, and his brothers, and his father's house. Only their little ones and the flocks and their herds they left in the land of Goshen. And there went up with him both chariots and horsemen. It was a very great company. And they came to the threshing floor of Atah, which is beyond Jordan. And there they moaned with a great and very sore lamentation. And he made a mourning for his father 7 days. And when the inhabitants of the land and the Canaanites saw the mourning in the floor of Atad, they said, This is a grievous mourning of the Egyptians. Wherefore the name of the place was called Abel Mitzrayim, which is beyond Jordan. And his sons did unto him according to as he commanded them. For his sons carried him into the land of Canaan, buried him in the cave of the field of Mitzpah, which Abraham bought with the field for a possession, a burying place of Ephron the Hittite before Mamre. And Joseph returned into Egypt of Mitzrayim, he and his brothers, and all that went up with him to bury his father, after he had buried his father. Now this is, pay attention. When Joseph's brothers saw that their father was dead, they said, Joseph would pre-adventure hate us, and will certainly requite, or that word shuv or shub, us all the evil which we did unto him. And they sent a messenger or command. So it wasn't messenger like angel or king, Malak, or Malak. But this is a command. Mitzvah. Unto Joseph, saying, Thy father did command before, and there it is again, before he died, saying, So shall you say unto Joseph, Forgive, I pray thee now, and trust the trespasses of thy brethren in their sin, for they did unto thee evil. And now we pray thee, forgive the trespass of thy servants of the Elohim of thy fathers. And Joseph wept when they spake unto him. Now, what is this? Why is this significant? Okay, some people, you can see all through what Joseph has done that Joseph didn't hold any grudge. He didn't hold anything against his brethren. He understood that was the hand of the Father working. And he's going to reiterate that to them. But his brothers weren't convinced. So they were letting their own imagination, even though we read all this evidence, how he took them in, how he nourished them, how he made sure they were going to be in a good strategic place. All of these things that Joseph did, but yet and still his brethren still come back and say, he's going to return evil on us. or he's going to do us wrong. So the simple lesson here is, if you've changed, just continue to live your change out. Because these words could have very easily have caused Joseph to say, okay, jokers, y'all want to keep saying this? Let me show you something. But he didn't do that. It said that he wept when he heard what they spoke. So your heart has got to stay in the right place. You can't be moved by the words of people. Because sometimes people will actually say things to push your buttons, to get the reaction, to try to get the reaction out of you. Or see, I know he hadn't changed. I knew he wanted to get us back. But if you just keep your heart in the right place, keep it focused on the Father, keep your navigation straight. Remember, you got to stay on course. Don't miss your turn. Don't miss where you're going or your purpose. And see, this is one of the things that throw many of us off course. We forget our purpose and what the Father's trying to do through us. Yeah, it's hard. It's your trial. So with some of us, our situations that we're faced with seems unsurmountable. And people can doubt all they want as far as the Father's blessings. You have got to know for yourself your purpose and where you're going. Or at least see that, okay, the Father's working here, so let me walk this thing out. See, what a lot of people are not willing to do is to walk it out. You've got to walk this out. You've got to walk it out, Miss Baka. Walk it out to see what is the end's going to be. Now let's read what Joseph, what he does. It's really heart touching because this really shows the love, a type of love that Mashiach has for us. Joseph wept when they spake unto him, and his brethren also went and fell down before his face and said, Behold, we be thy servants. And Joseph said unto them, Fear not, for am I in the place of Elohim? This is our key verses. But as for you, you thought evil against me, but Elohim meant it for good, to bring to pass as it is this day, to save much alive. Now therefore, fear you not, I will nourish you and your little ones. And he comforted them and spake kindly. Spake to them from his heart. What was really in his heart. Let's look at Leb. So, you see a comfortable, you see a lot of things very widely used for feelings, the will, or even the intellect. Likewise for the central of everything. So all along, what was really in him has come out. He didn't have hatred for his brothers. See, a lot of people might think you hate them. And that's what they want to say, that's what they want to feel. But the truth be told, there's no hate, there's just love. And that's all he had for them, love. And Joseph dwelled in Mitzrayim, he and his father's house, and Joseph lived 110 years. And Joseph saw Ephraim's children of the third generation, and the children also of this right here is Machir, the son of Manasseh, were brought up upon Joseph's knees. And Joseph said unto his brethren, I die, and Elohim will surely visit you and bring you out of this land unto the land which he swore unto Abraham, Yitzchak, and to Yaakov. And Joseph took an oath of the children of Israel, saying, Elohim will surely visit you, and you shall carry my bones from hence. So Joseph died, being 110 years old. They embalmed him, and he was put in a coffin in Egypt. So, for us, we've got to understand our course, understand where the Father's taking us, understand what's happening in our lives. Because I keep trying to tell you it's all about perspective and where the Father's trying to take you. If you keep thinking he hates you, guess what? You speaking it. That's what's going to happen in your life. Everything that's happening is going to look like hate, hate, hate. But if you're seeing the Father's trying to help you navigate, he's trying to refine your life, he's trying to purify your life, he's trying to get you to a point that your life is better. Some of us want better material. But if you get a better you, the rest will come. He can open up doors. He can bless you with houses and land. But that's not the objective. The objective is for you to be more like him, more like Torah, to love Torah. And I really have to, ask, your commitment to Torah. And what do I mean by that? Some of the things that are written, let's say you had a son who you've corrected him. Now this is if we were a nation. When I say when we're gathered together as a nation, and all these rules apply to us, would you have enough strength if you had a rebellious son, or if your brother or sister said, come on, let's go worship Baal or go worship another deity? Would you have enough strength in yourself to say, we got to put away this evil out of Israel and to bring them before the judges and to have them stoned, and you be the first one to throw stones? Or would you just be one, oh, it's okay, he gonna change? They let them just worship when the Torah tell you, if they try to entice you, what you're supposed to do. Where's your heart on these type matters? Could you do it, or would you have reservations? I really want you to think on this, because this will let you know just where you are. If you got reservations, you're not there yet. And if you say, hey, let's take them, then we got to, that is great that you have a zeal for Torah, just like Pinchas. And so now you continue to build. Continue to understand. Continue to commit your heart and mind to Torah. Because that's what it's all about. Now, I want you to see, let's see, I'm going to go over here. Let's see here. Let's go back. I want you to, I want to take you to Living Branch just for a second. I'm going to post here about the Exodus. I did a couple of posts here where Ron Wyatt, and of course he's going to use JC and other stuff, but the information that he gives is what I'm after. I'm going to post today a link for the Exodus, and they're going to show you some of the stuff that they found that bears that shows evidence that Joseph and this famine actually happened in the land of Mitzrayim or Egypt. So that'll be some good stuff for you to just add to your collection. So I'll post that after service. But I just want to show you where it's going to be. It's going to be on this timeline. So ask yourself, after the death of Yaakov, Joseph's brothers were of what mindset? That's what I want you to ask yourself. What type of mind did they have? So I hope this lesson had other tidbits that were key for our navigation. So make sure you go back and read, and because sometimes the little things is what throw us off. Remember, it says in Ecclesiastes that it's the little foxes that spoil the vine. Now, if you'd like to join our bookmarker witnessing team, here's our address, bm@hebrewfoundation.org. Go to that website and fill it out, and we'll send you out some bookmarkers. Make sure you give me your complete address, not just city, state, zip. Okay. Now, if you'd like to donate to help our cause, go to our website, living-branch.org, and you'll see up here a donation button. When you click it, it'll bring you here. So it'll offer you all the ways to give donation. You can use our PayPal address if you want to use PayPal, and you can use our donation tool. If you like, you can also send it in by mail. You are the ones that help to keep us being able to send this broadcast all across the world to many people that rely on this ministry. So we're ever thankful for your prayers. We're ever thankful for any donations that you send. Now, if you do click on the online giving tool, it's going to bring you to this page. So you can quick give. That's where you don't have to register. You can do credit card or debit card. Or if you like to use a checking or savings account, you register and then you'll be able to use those. And registering, you can always log in and see your history of giving. And it will send you out an email confirming your gift. All right, Miss Picard, this is Morey Medad-Yahoo. You've just watched another live Shabbat service, Navigating Through This Life, Part 5. Not sure if we're going to do another example or not. I'll pray and we'll find out during the week. I'll know during the week what direction the Father is taking us in, and we'll do whatever direction He says. But in the meantime, if you have any questions, make sure you can shoot me an email at info@living-branch.org. And if you get a chance, check out our witnessing website, yahuwah.co. So we want to thank you for tuning in to our broadcast. For those of you that are going to be watching other services, I recommend watching the Path to Yahuwah, which is thepathtoyahuwah.com. Watching that broadcast at 4 o'clock with Morey Lamont Yahoo. Continue the Torah portion. And just continue to make this day a delight, do things that pertain unto the Father, and watch how the Father continues to open doors and give you revelation and understanding. All right, this is Medad, Morey Medad Yahoo, Ben Yashriel, telling you once again, Shabbat